We're gonna, before I do anything else, we're gonna look at the balance changes. People started playing the Ed build at Capcom Cup on the test setups and noticed that there was balance changes. But it turns out it was probably a very good thing that I left it a few days, because a lot of the balance changes that have been reported are false. They are wrong. They are people seeing mirages in the desert. So I think we should go through that real quick. I actually put on my investigative journalism hat before the stream, and I went through and checked a bunch of the balance changes in the Ed build for which ones are real and which ones are fake and which ones are possibly real but not confirmed. All right, so here are the ones that are definitely real.
Quite a few changes that I hit in the news. You get to play on this sick new stage, which is ridiculous. Like the Shadow Laboratory all destroyed.
Yes, he has that now. This is the kind of damage you get out there, which is okay. It's alright.
All right. Change number one that is definitely real and confirmed. Geef can now combo EX Lariat into level 3. This is not currently possible in the game. This is new. It seems to be the case that the way this works is that the very first hit of EX Lariat now puts you in like a crumple state. Sort of like if you've been hit by a drive impact. Because that's the only way that you can combo into a grab. A couple people saw this and wondered if that just means that he can now combo into level 3 in general. And that was also tested. And the answer is no. In this video, we get confirmation. You can't just do anything into level 3. So you do have to go via EX Lariat, but at the very least, Geef does now have a way to combo into level 3. Change number 2, Ryu buffs. Ryu got some buffs. So if you guys don't already know, in the current version of the game, Ryu's light Hashogeki is -4. But in this version, lights are not punishing it. So it's hard to say what exactly the frame data is here. I would guess -3 or maybe -2. This is kind of nice for 2 reasons. One, Ryu actually has a safe buffer off low forward now, which was the whole point of this move. Like one of the weird things about Hashogeki is that back on like in 2022, when Capcom was first like showing off the new moves and explaining how Street Fighter 6 characters worked, part of their tagline for Hashogeki was, it's this new special we gave to Ryu that's kind of like a low damage but safe buffer off low forward, so you can just do like crouch medium kick into Hashogeki. It doesn't lead to anything, but it's like a fairly safe buffer. Except the game came out and it's not safe, so it's situational at best. So this is a nice buff, and the other thing about it being safe is that means it'll be plus in burnout. So Ryu might have like a burnout loop. It's hard to say. He might be able to do like jab into light Hashogeki as a looping burnout string. And another Ryu buff. Ryu buff number 2, also confirmed. This one. So, after heavy Hashogeki, which is plus, the pushback has been reduced, and Ryu actually gets a throw now. This is already plus, but it pushes back too far. You can't tick throw off this right now. I actually had to go back and test this, because I was skeptical when I saw this. That what was happening was that the throw range was being sort of like artificially increased, because I noticed it was a counter hit. So I thought that maybe the extended hurtbox of Marissa's crouch jab was what was getting thrown. Yeah, so it is already +2 right now, but if I set Marissa in the current version, after blocking heavy Hashogeki to do a crouching light punch and extend her hurtbox, you can never get a throw here, as it is right now. It does too much pushback. So you always lose to the crouch jab here, even in the corner as well. So they reduced the pushback, so now you can use this as a kind of like sneaky pressure tool if you want. You can test your opponent's reactions by doing like stand fierce into Hashogeki, hope they don't interrupt you, and if they don't, you now get a throw shimmy mix up afterwards. So that's a nice little buff. Cute buff for Ryu. Okay, the next change is this is probably the most interesting one, just from a sign of things to come. I should probably mention We have no idea if the balance changes in this Ed build are going to be in the game when Ed drops. There's been no communication, so we've no idea what the plan is going forward. It seems likely that this small amount of balance changes in this build are not Season 2. This is not the big balance patch we've been waiting for. This just seems like a sort of like a small update in advance of a major balance patch. But this is the one that I thought was interesting. So Jamie now gets a brand new animation.
So you hold throw,
which is that.
cool, but he loses Oki.
So this animation here, after Jamie's forward throw, of him cancelling the recovery into a drink is completely new. This is the kind of change that feels more like what we should expect from a Season 2 change. Most of the other changes are like small adjustments to, you know, frame data and stuff. This is a completely new animation. So basically what this is Jamie now gets the choice to either go for Oki after his forward throw or cancel into the drink, forfeit Oki, but get a drink level, which I really like. I really like these kinds of changes. I like anything that gives a character more versatility and more way of using their tools. These are the kind of changes that I like. I saw a lot of suggestions that Jamie should start the round in like drink level 1, which I don't like that suggestion because his whole game plan should be based around getting drinks in. I much prefer changes like this which give him more versatility and more ways to upgrade his drink level at the cost of like Oki or whatever. So this is a cool change. Does it make Jamie top tier instantly? No, but it is a move in the right direction. Okay, and there's one thing I'm going to add here to the Jamie section. There is a second Jamie buff, but I've listed it under probably true, but not confirmed, okay? So because I'm being a proper journalist here, I've seen about 5 or 6 people report that Jamie maintains his drink level after a level 2. But I scoured Twitter high and low and I could not find a single video to confirm that. Like, lots of people said it, but I have seen no video evidence to confirm it. So it's almost certainly true, but I haven't got 100% confirmation. Just to explain how this works, because a lot of people have misunderstood this change. I saw some people saying, does this mean Jamie keeps his drink level between rounds? Some people think this means Jamie keeps level 2 between rounds. None of that. That's not the case. This is more like a bug fix than a buff more than anything. So basically, if you guys don't already know, Jamie's level 2 is kind of weird. And if you have drinks before you activate the level 2, so like if I do that and get 2 drink levels, and then activate his level 2, once this level 2 expires, for some reason, as well as losing the level 4 status at the end of the timer, this super also reverts Jamie completely back to level 0. You can see at the top there, those 2 drinks that I had before I activated his super are also wiped from existence. And it seems like the build at Capcom Cup has made it so that he now maintains whatever drinks he had prior to level 2. Next confirmed change is this one right here. This is probably the one that attracted the most attention and got people talking, first of all. JP nerfs. We all love a good JP nerf, don't we, folks?
Like, look how thin it is. It does no damage. Oh! It does almost no damage.
So did you see it?
Like, look how thin it is. It does no damage. Oh! It does almost...
So if I pause, like, here, before the level 3. So if you guys can see, it's quite small and it's a vertical film. The combo after Amnesia here, this is the throw punish combo. This combo is doing significantly less damage than it does in the current version. Let me just show you a comparison. So in this footage, I'll try and line up the health bars. You can see that the opponent's health is roughly in line with the end of their drive gauge, and after the combo, they just barely get into the yellow. So there you go. So you can see that is a pretty significant difference, because I'm doing the same combo there, and in this version of the combo, it's almost killing. Before I even do the level 3, it takes you well past the threshold for yellow health here. So it seems like this combo is, right now, this is doing 3,740 before the level 3. It looks like it's probably doing around half that. Maybe between a half and 2/3. Yeah, this kind of looks like perfect parry scaling. All right. And this is the final confirmed change that I was able to find that is definitely true. This was a strange one. Ken's forward throw has been nerfed, but I use the word nerfed very loosely because not really nerfed is the answer.
Where you could have been stunned, that drive impact would have great reaction by Shadow King. But once again, this is Groups.
Here we are. So Ken lands a forward throw in the corner,
Great reaction by Shadow King. But once again,
and he ends up at half screen, which is quite a bit further away than he is right now. So as you can see, in my version, in the current version, he's almost point blank. So the initial reaction, and a lot of people's guess, was like, this means throw loops are going away or gone. But the thing is, they haven't made any changes to the frame advantage. It's still, his throw is still plus 20, even in the Capcom Cup build, which is enough to be plus after a forward dash. He's plus 1 after forward dash, even now. But the other thing is, even without the dash, they later tested this, and he still has a throw loop. So this was after a little bit more testing. It turns out that even with the pushback increase, Ken is still plus enough that you can do walk-up throw. So he still has a throw loop. Maybe it's a little bit harder to execute because the timing is more specific and more strict. This is probably a little bit more tricky to do because you have to manually walk forward for a certain number of frames. But Ken still has a throw loop. Unfortunately, the initial reports that his throw loop was nerfed or gone were vastly overstated. So those are the changes that I have listed under 100% confirmed. Now, just to go on the other side of the coin, I want to point out that a lot of the changes that were reported turned out not to be true when they were tested properly, and it kind of annoyed me a little bit because, not wanting to throw anyone under the bus, but a lot of content creators rushed out to put a video out the second this information came out, and ended up, you know, feeding a lot of misinformation to people that's going to be difficult to dispel for a while. So let's start off with this one. JPEX Amnesia. So I mentioned already that JPEX Amnesia has damage reduction, which it does seem to be the case. But there was a second nerf, or reported nerf, which doesn't seem to be true, which is this one.
Yeah, that is definitely less active. Yeah, that is definitely less active.
So the instinct was that EX Amnesia now has less active frames as well. And the example was this: Marissa throwing JP out of EX Amnesia after a short delay. And I tested this. One of the nice things about Street Fighter 6 is this game actually has the option in training mode to go into slow motion, which is useful for stuff like this. So if we look, just going back to the original footage, the throw connects. If you watch JP closely, you see he shrugs on the EX Amnesia and glows yellow. And then just as the initial yellow glow wears off, he gets grabbed. So that's roughly the frame we're looking for to compare.
I've got you.
So as you can see here, trying to replicate the same frame in slow motion just after the initial yellow flash wears off, it seems to be exactly the same. Obviously, I can't do a perfect frame comparison because I don't know the frame rate of the video recording and stuff like that. I can't do a perfect one-to-one. But just going off like, going off my instinct based on this footage and what I've found in training mode, I'm afraid EX Amnesia seems to be basically the same in every other regard. I don't think the active frames have been reduced. Or if they have been reduced, it's been an extremely small reduction. Oh, another one. I don't need any footage for this one, but a lot of people reported that parrying jabs parry has been buffed, and if you parry a jab, it now gives you 1 bar of drive gauge. It already does that. That's not new. That's not new. So it does that in the current version. Parry hasn't been changed. All right, let's talk about this one. It's time to talk about Luke's crouching medium punch. This one really took off. Like, this has like 3,000 likes or something like that.
Oh, that's good.
That's so late.
Oh.
The reactions are so good.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And the video is called Luke Crouching Medium Punch is Fixed. This got 924,000 views, 3,200 likes, bunch of people convincing themselves that the recovery has been increased on Luke's Crouch Medium Punch. making it easier to whiff punish. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Maybe this is a case of people trying to will something into reality just because they're so, like, traumatized by Luke Crouch medium punch. But as far as I can tell from testing, this is not changed at all. This is exactly how it is in the current version too. And as far as I can tell, almost every attempt to replicate this gets the same result in the current version. Here's an overlaid comparison if you want. Oh, did someone already do the homework? Oh, nice. Okay, shoutouts to Ghastly Soldier, who overlaid the footage much more professionally than I could. Yeah, it looks the same. So, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Luke has been nerfed in this version. But again, this isn't Season 2, so don't abandon hope yet. This looks like a small preview update of just a few things changing, not a major balance patch. Oh yeah, one last thing to say is that I don't have video footage of this one, but a bunch of people were reporting that Jury's medium punches had changed. And I looked through a lot of tweets to try and figure out the source of this. Some people were saying that her stand medium punch had more pushback, and then others were saying her crouch medium punch had more pushback. There was a lot of contradictory information. I saw Just a Kid, who is a Jury main, one of the best Jury players out there, say that it wasn't true after he tested it. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume this Jury thing isn't true either. I don't have footage to confirm it. Oh, and one last thing, I mentioned it earlier. The setups at Capcom Cup had the advantage turned on for some testing purposes, and it leads to some potentially misleading results. So this clip was also doing the works. Let me just switch that over. This clip of Ed was doing the rounds, which I think is his crouch medium kick anti-air. And a lot of people were going crazy because they were like, holy shit, look how much damage this anti-air is doing. Like, that's a crouch medium kick, and that's doing like 2,000 damage. And it later turned out that this was the advantage system being turned on. So this is doing like 3 times as much damage as it's supposed to because of the way the handicap was turned on. So yeah, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I would say about 75% of the changes that were reported on day one are not true. People want them to be true. I guess that's probably why they got a bit carried away. The other thing is, it's really hard. I don't want it to seem like I'm like having a go at the people that were at Capcom Cup testing this stuff, because it is really hard to test things by feel. Like if someone put me in front of a setup and told me there's a bunch of balance changes, test it out, I would probably also start hallucinating changes, because like I would start to think maybe this normal feels like it's got more recovery, or maybe this normal feels like it's got a bigger hurt box. Like I would start to doubt my own like knowledge of the game based on feel. So it's very common at location tests that people start second guessing their own experience and guessing at changes that aren't really there. So no disrespect to any of the people that were out there recording and trying to provide material for the community. I just thought it's good to be clear. So I don't know what happens next. I don't know what happens next. I assume the changes that are in this build are going to be also in the game when Ed drops on the 27th, possibly, but I don't know for sure. Capcom has given us no information. So I don't know.